Friendo, Steve here.
And Larson.
Welcome back to Going in Raw, the only pro wrestling podcast you need to be listening to. On today's episode, we're talking about last night's Monday Night Raw. The Judgment Day back together. Happy for now. We'll see how that all works out. I got a theory on that one, man. I think they might be, as Rhea Ripley said last night, going for all the gold. And there might be some evidence to suggest they might get all that gold, Larson. I'm going to talk about that with you because I'm going to get
prophecy on the main roster.
Could be a golden prophecy, a purple golden prophecy on the main roster. Yeah, man, absolutely. We're going to talk about that. Also, we've got some news items here, including the idea that WWE might be experiencing a new modern renaissance in popularity, Larson.
Yeah,
we're going to talk about that. And also, apparently, there were some verbal fisticuffs backstage last night after the main event. I said verbal fisticuffs.
Yeah, I know. Is that really a thing?
Well, it's like fighting with words. It's argument. It's an argument. It's just another word for an argument.
Right. Yeah,
it sounds like much more controversial.
Yeah. It's like, oh, wow, you hear fisticuffs and you think.
Right. They put up the old dukes.
Yeah.
But then you hear verbal. It's like, well, they just stern words were had, perhaps.
I guess the worry is you go right to fisticuffs, do you think?
Oh, man, that's
you
why
hear that, you just forget about the verbal part.
Yeah, well, we're going to find out about all that. But first, Larson,
we will.
Let me ask you a question.
What's that, Steve?
In your estimation as Wrestling Insider, is WWE now more popular than it was during the Attitude Era? Stone Cold Steve Austin and such.
Yes, it depends on what metrics you look at. But in terms of TV ratings and live attendance, WWE right now, no question about it, definitely on the upswing with last Friday's SmackDown posting it. This number is insane. Mm-hmm. Insane, 0.76 in the all-important 18 to 49 demo. That's the highest demo number ever recorded for a wrestling program on network television, according to Wrestling Observer.
Oh, my gosh.
That included like Saturday Night Main Event, all that. The highest demo number ever recorded.
No way. Really?
I guess
Saturday Night's Main Event?
I don't know how long ago they were recording the 18 to 49 demo, but in terms of the actual recorded 18 to 49 demo, that is the highest number ever recorded for a wrestling show.
That's really
on network
cool.
television.
Wow. Yeah.
Important caveat there.
A couple of qualifiers, sure.
Yeah. The second quarter hour, so that was in the middle of the trial of Roman Reigns after the first commercial break. That segment alone averaged over 3 million viewers and popped a 0.94 demo number.
That's crazy. That is crazy.
That is wild. That is absolutely crazy. According to Dave Meltzer, not only is WWE pulling in historic TV numbers, but they're also selling tons of merch, perhaps even more than during the Attitude Era. That's what Dave had to say in a recent Wrestling Observer Radio. Quote, attendance is way up. It's been big on cable, even in the Attitude Era when it was big on cable. It wasn't being the top network shows. It wasn't even close. But now, I mean, it is. It's crazy, and people want to say that somehow this isn't hot. It is so hot. It's the hottest wrestling has been since 2001. That's 22 years. People may look back and go, oh, they were doing 3 million viewers not that many years ago, although TV's changed. They certainly weren't doing these crowds on a regular basis like they are now. The crowds for the quarter hour would be some of the highest in many years, and so many other things when you look at them. Merchandise has never been higher, ever. Not in the Attitude Era, not in the Hulk Hogan era. Never as high as it is now. Roman is the catalyst. Cody Rhodes is doing great on Raw, no doubt about it. Roman, he's been great since he went heel, and it's been building and everything like that. But even when you look back 6 months ago, it's gone way up since 6 months.
Yeah, it is kind of crazy. And it's sort of just, I was watching Raw last night. Again, I watched it live. I thought it was a really good episode. And you look up and down the roster, and the one thing that stands out, they're telling some good stories. I really love the Judgment Day. We're going to talk about that stuff here in a second. Mm-hmm. The characters are so much more well realized than they were 6 months to a year ago, back during the Vince days, when it was like people really were sort of unsure. They were clearly not confident in who they were trying to be or who they were supposed to be portraying on TV. You look at somebody like Chelsea Green, right? Yeah. With that, what'd you say? 3 points, basketball, whatever it was.
Oh, 3 strikes and you're out.
3 strikes and you're out. Basketball. Yeah. When you look up and down the roster from the top to the bottom, Alpha Academy, Viking Raiders, depth guys, highlight superstars, up and down the roster, everybody knows their role and they give it their all. And that makes that Champa Miz match really under like a year ago would have been a big stinker. It would have been boring as hell. You add the no DQ element to it, and then you bring back a Bronson Reed for the finish. That made sense.
Yep.
Like there's so much more logic to the storytelling, and the characters are so much realized and it's been a long time. Like if you look, a lot of people look back. I've noticed this before. A lot of people look back at like 2016, specifically SmackDown 2016, and also Raw to a degree when they were doing like Festival of Friendship stuff, as the last time, WWE's TV product was actually pretty damn good. And it was good then. It was. You look back and you see the cast of characters they had. And again, people seem to understand who they were portraying. And there was a heavy fall off around 2017, 2018. Vince McMahon went downhill quick with his booking. And people came up to main roster. They didn't know who the hell they were supposed to be. There was the fumble of the NXT class of 2018 or so. And now we are experiencing a bit of an upswing. Yep. As far as it being more as popular as it was during the Attitude Era, one thing that I think people will say a lot, and I'm curious about what you have to say about this, is, well, back then, everybody knew who all the stars were. They were on the cover of TV Guide. They were here. They were there. My counter to that, and this is what I'm curious what you have to say about. There is no singular popular culture now. That doesn't exist the way it did 25 years ago. I have no fucking clue who's on the Billboard Top 20. And it ain't just because I'm old. Back then, people who were in their mid 40s, they knew who were in the top in the Billboard. That doesn't exist anymore. The pop culture, because of how many different things are out there, there can be wildly popular things that people just haven't heard about in a larger sense. Yeah. And I just don't think that it's necessarily possible to replicate that kind of with almost anything these days. What's your take on that?
Yeah. I mean, not just television, but entertainment as a whole is so fragmented in terms of distribution and platforms by which you can take in entertainment. Like 22 years ago, you had network television, you had cable television. That was kind of it. There was no YouTube to watch. There was no TikTok. There was no streaming video here on Twitch or any place else. Yeah. So those were your entertainment options. Now there's so many more ways that you can ingest entertainment that's not through your television. Yeah. And so, like there could be someone who is immensely popular on TikTok. They could have 1 billion followers. It's entirely conceivable that I or you or a lot of our audience would have no idea who they are. Right. None. Yeah. So no, I think that there is some truth to that. And even TV alone, the way that it's being ingested, it's not just through cable or network. You got a variety of apparently money-losing streaming platforms that people watch content on, and shows could be really popular or do really well relatively on Disney Plus or Netflix, but might not capture the popular zeitgeist like wrestling did 20 years ago. It's just a completely different landscape. Let me get this bit of context in here. FTW Assassin says Meltzer said Hogan versus Andre was number 33 on TV. I assume that's for Saturday Night Main Event. Oh, wow. While SmackDown was number 1. So there's some additional context for.
I just figured back then like 100 million people would have watched that because there's well, I mean, look, and that's entirely possible. Just given that, like the total number of viewership, there were 4 channels back then. Maybe even 3 now that I think of it, because Fox didn't come till later.
Television? Yeah.
Network television. There were 3 channels back then, and like only the Larson household had cable back then. Like the poor here household, we didn't have cable. We were like everybody else. We were in eye rollers like the Larsons, man.
Hey, my dad was an early adopter of technology.
Hey, God bless him for that. We were not that. We had a VCR player, and that was pretty much VCR. And
VHS. That's what you're thinking.
We had a VHS player.
Yeah,
a VCR. We had a VCR.
Yes.
And that was pretty much it. And even then, we just record bullshit on the TV and then watch that back. Record some Knight Rider, Dukes of Hazzard. But yeah, I mean, look, I don't know. I'm sure there are like so many different metrics you could use, including the anecdotal. But there are so many different metrics you could use. So I don't know that there's a firm answer, but when Dave Meltzer pops out these stats, they are pretty telling. They really are.
They are. I mean, if you take into account like YouTube views, which are worldwide, social media impressions, which are worldwide. I mean, you could probably pretty accurately make the case that WWE, in terms of its reach worldwide has never been greater.
Yeah. I
in
think
terms of
that's
number of
probably,
people that are aware of the brand at this point in time.
Yeah. No, what is crazy to me is because, even when you go back to TV viewing habits pre-pandemic, which seems honestly like not that long ago, but it is 3 years ago. It's over 3 years ago now. And the fact that Raw, I have no idea what the Raw rating is going to be today. We're going to find out about 45 minutes, 50 minutes.
Yeah.
We might be off the air by then. I don't know. But given that they have been able to sort of maintain, a certain rating, and certainly on SmackDown increase a little bit over 3 years, where even in the last 3 years, and partially because of, what was going on during pandemic, the lockdowns and stuff, the digital media landscape changed so much that to be able to maintain or increase your ratings over 3 years. I'm not an executive at some TV cable network or whatever, but like common sense says that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, it does. And one of the knocks on WWE's TV numbers is that the audience skewed older.
Yeah.
And to see these huge numbers in the 18 to 49 demo, which is the audience, the demo that advertisers want to cater to because they have the ones with the most disposable income. That's historically speaking, that's been the case.
Right.
That's pretty massive. If not only is WWE pulling in huge TV numbers as a whole, but elevating their demo numbers, well, that means more advertising dollars for their programming. So, and which would translate to potentially more a greater licensing fees for their programming. Which puts more money in WWE's pocket. So it's
talk about, well, speaking of that, talk about like an advantageous time to be boosting your numbers. Oh my God, their TV deals like coming up. They're going to be negotiating like probably now. you know what I mean?
Because the exclusive window already passed.
It's already passed.
They're negotiating now. Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, this strike while the iron's hot. I don't know what the multiplier is going to be, but you got to figure it's going to be a
it's going to be pretty massive.
Big deal. Yeah.
Potentially pretty massive. Pretty
Absolutely.
massive. So let's talk about something else pretty massive. Actually, I don't think this is that huge of a deal, but anyways, some backstage news apparently happened after Raw. So, of course, main event, Judgment Day versus Seth Rollins, Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, team champions versus Judgment Day. Judgment Day gets the win. But apparently that clash in the ring didn't end when Finn pinned Sami Zayn to get the win. According to PPV Insider, quote, there was an argument backstage following Monday Night Raw involving members of the six-man tag team main event. PPV Insider has confirmed with multiple sources. We are told the brunt of the issue is how the match went, as there were apparently some spots that didn't go as initially planned and were clunky, with two sources placing the blame on the fact that aspects of the match were changed, quote, at the last literal second, and one source placing the blame on one talent who they didn't want to name to not make the internet go insane. We're told that after Finn Balor pinned Sami Zayn, everyone returned to gorilla position backstage. An argument began, born out of the frustration over how the match went, but was never in danger of getting physical. The situation finally petered out, but we are told that many involved weren't happy with the situation. Fightful Select reached out to their sources. They just posted this up right before we got started, and their sources have, quote, downplayed the situation. And I think in Fightful's report, they say that Kevin Owens left immediately, wasn't there if there was an argument. So who knows?
Yeah, I mean, you would think with so many moving parts. I mean, I was watching that match, and it was one of those matches where I was thinking to myself, for six people to get on the same page. And I mean, look, I don't know. I'm not obviously I'm not a wrestler. I can't sit there and pick and choose. I mean, sometimes spots are obvious when they get a little messy or whatever, to the layman eyes. But I was sitting there, honestly, I was sitting there being like, God damn, these people all have to remember where their spots are and what to do next. And Dom pushes this guy off, and then he turns around and eats a kick and then gets out of the ring and does this, that. I'm like, I would be a terrible waiter because I have a terrible memory. Yeah, I'm like, kudos to those people for actually putting it together. But they're striving for perfection, I guess. And who do you think the name is that would drive the internet wild?
Oh, I don't know.
You know what? I don't care who it is. I think they're all great, Larson.
They are all great. The sordid nerdery here in chat, and I remember this spot, says the one botched sling blade between Finn and Seth is probably the issue. Man, I would doubt one, bungled or missed spot is going to lead to a backstage RV, because those things just happen. I would think it had to be a continuous issue with not being on the same page. If you go over a match, you think it's all laid out, you're good to go, and then merely seconds or minutes before you go out for your match, things change.
Yeah.
I mean, that could throw everybody for a loop.
Oh yeah, for sure, absolutely. You got a 6-man out there, absolutely.
Yeah,
and then
I didn't notice anything. Apart from the Sling Blade spot, I didn't notice anything out of the ordinary per se. Mm-hmm. It just felt like a typical chaotic 6-man main event match.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I don't know. They're trying to do their best out there, give the people their money, and I'm sure those conflicts are going to happen, especially these days, man. When everything's so popular. Let's talk about Judgment Day really quick, man. They were on Raw a lot last night.
They were.
Not enough for my liking. Yeah. I want more Judgment. Honestly, Raw, if you give me an hour and a half of Judgment Day, an hour and a half of Cody Rhodes, I'm good. I'm set.
Oh, wow. I think the reason that we have a new line of purple merchandise available right now at friendoshop.com, code purple for 20% off, is not because of the Sacramento Kings, who had a great season. I think it's because you love the Judgment Day that much.
So I'll be honest with you. When I decided to do a purple line, it was because it was the Judgment Day. Like, part of me was like, oh, man, Kings had such a great season. And then I was like, man, and the Judgment Day are so cool. And plus, on top of that, the purple phone controversy here at Going in Raw from a little while ago.
Remind me.
That really, I'm all in on the purple these days. I have turned around on it, my favorite faction. Let's talk about what Rhea Ripley said to Samuel Zayn. Backstage, she said, hey, you and I were just talking about this yesterday, actually. Who the hell are going to take these tag titles, or who's going to challenge for the tag titles against Sami and Kevin Owens? We might have an answer for that, and it could be Judgment Day. Now, obviously, last night, the Judgment Day, they're on the same page. There are still issues within Judgment Day.
Oh, yes.
One thing that solves everything, and the reason why they were on the same page at the end of Raw last night, is because winning solves everything. The Judgment Day wins again. They're on the same page. Now, what do we know about Triple H? Well, I'm being very broad there. Sorry.
Yeah.
In NXT.
Oh, Gold Prophecy.
The Undisputed Era fulfilled the Golden Prophecy. So that's something, creatively speaking, that he might be interested in going back to. What do we know about Judgment Day?
Again, that's a broad question.
WWE loves the Judgment Day.
Oh, yeah.
They have got, I looked this up on WWE Shop today. They have got so much merch.
Yeah.
They have got so much merch.
It's got that new shirt with like the little cartoon.
The little cartoon emoji guys on it. Yeah.
Yeah, versions of the characters. Yeah,
cartoony versions of them. And then Rhea's got like new shirts. And I love they're all wear each other's shirts.
I know.
Which is awesome. They got great chemistry. They're a huge deal within the programming on Raw right now. If you don't break them up, you got to go the other way. Because these guys, they're... the glue that holds them together eventually is simply going to be winning gold.
Yeah. And it makes all the sense in the world for it to be Finn and Priest to go after the tag titles, because they're the two with the problems, Oh,
that's interesting. Okay. All right.
I guess he would think either Finn or Dom and Priest, but I feel like
thinking Dom and Priest and then Finn would go with the world title, but what's your thoughts?
I think it has to be Finn and Priest to prove that they're on the same page.
Okay.
And either when they're put in that pressure-filled situation to compete for the tag titles, if they wilt under that pressure and fall apart, well, all is not well with Judgment Day. But they manage to succeed and win and get those tag titles, hold up those tag titles. Priest has that Money in the Bank briefcase. Finn is like, I still have my sights set on Seth Rollins. Mm-hmm. And then they can win him. If they would have freebird him, that's fine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Especially if Finn eventually moves on for... to get that world heavyweight title. If he gets that, he's like, all right, here you go, Dom. You can have this tag title.
I'm looking ahead to SummerSlam.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, okay, what could be the match for the tag titles? If Finn Seth is going to be the thing, then Finn took one loss at a pay-per-view against Seth. I mean, they obviously could give him another loss here against Seth. But if Priest and Dom go after look, if it was me, it'd be Rhea and Dom. But if Priest and Dom go after the tag titles, they win those at SummerSlam, and then Finn ends up beating Seth at SummerSlam for the World Heavyweight Championship. Oh, man. Ooh-wee.
Yeah, that'd be good in terms of keeping whatever issues within Judgment Day at bay. But what about this? What if Priest and Dom win the tag titles, but Finn doesn't beat Seth?
Ooh.
Issues.
See, I don't want them to have issues anymore. I just want them to have success, unfettered success.
Ideally, there'll be some simmering issues that are put to the side due to success, only for success that goes south, and then the issues come back down the line, many years down the line.
Well, here's the thing. The idea, here's the thing. You can do like, it's much like, this is 2018 all over again when you and I were like firmly anti breaking up the Undisputed Era. We're like, look, you can lose Bobby Fish, but the other three, they need to stay together.
Yeah.
Judgment Day right now, that's how I feel about them. I do not want to see them break up. I think you can kind of have your cake and eat it too. You can have some intrigue. Finn wins World Heavyweight Championship. Dom and Priest win the tag titles. Rhea's got the world, the women's title, and Priest still has that Money in the Bank. So that alone is always going to be an issue because it's like, okay, dude, are you going to go after Roman? Like if I'm Finn, I'm like, hey, my plan is to have this as long as possible. Yeah. You've got a year-long reign with as Senor Money in the Bank.
Yeah.
So you're going to have to cash in at some point, or you're going to have to go after, Roman or somebody else or whatever. But I think that alone could can create even more drama. If everybody has gold, then you got to keep it. And in order to keep it, you all got to be on the same page. So,
exactly.
I don't know. Look, I do think that we have the precedent with the Undisputed Era, with the same guy running things, Triple H. They got a lot of merch right now. They're not going to want to give that up.
You wouldn't think so.
They're a staple of Monday Night Raw, and it could set up. And on top of that, like the story that is working right now in a way that no story's ever worked before is the Bloodline, and that is a long story.
Yep.
That is a long story.
One thing they have shown they're willing to do is take their time with their top stories. So
yeah, and maybe it would not be a terrible idea to say, hey, we have this long-term storyline with the Bloodline that's working out really well. Let's aim to tell another compelling long-term story with a lot of twists and turns, and we've got the Judgment Day for that, man. It is nuts, like just how popular Rhea Ripley is, just how many and her dynamic with Dom. It is unique. It is absolutely.
It really is.
I've bitched so many times about, man, we need like a dominant heel champion of some sort that could just beat people. And Rhea's that. She doesn't need to cheat. She doesn't need. Nope. I mean, yeah, she sucker punched Natalya a couple times to win those matches, but then she gutted out that crazy win over Natalya last week. She is a dominator. She can just win.
Yep.
And they have something special with all of them. So
they do. Yeah. They do. Yeah, it'd be a shame if they broke them up before they've arguably reached their peak. So
yeah.
Yep. Well, I guess we could jump right into it because the show opened up with Judgment Day.
Well, hold on a sec. We got to mention this really quick. We got the G1 predictions coming up.
Those will go up later today. Sorry, there was issues yesterday. I didn't get them up yesterday, but they'll go up today.
So the G1 prediction right now, if you guys want to help support Going in Raw, Friendo Club, hit that join button on YouTube. It's $5 a month. You get access to our weekly bonus episodes. You can also... what's it called? Go to Patreon, patreon.com/Steven Larson. $5 a month there gets you our weekly bonus episode. It also gets you, both those things also get you access to our monthly predictions challenge. Right now, Flannelly Dan is our Money in the Bank winner. Let's see if I can bring up the Flannelly Dan picture here, because I just did that the other day. And we're supposed to show these every time. Oh, here we go. Here's Flannelly Dan. Here we go. Look at that. Our Money in the Bank winner, Flannelly Dan. So this dude can cash in at any pay-per-view. If he's only like 3 points down, he can try for a cash-in. You're Flannelly Dan right now.
Yeah.
I see some similarities there.
I'm down 2 points. I want to cash in for victory at SummerSlam.
Tell me when to stop moving my hand around. I'll grab.
Well, bring the briefcase up because I can't tell what you're doing right there with your hand. Now.
Congratulations. You are new Big Blue champion. You took it from Brandon McClendon.
There we go.
Good job, Flannelly Dan.
And so the G1's going to be a similar thing.
Yeah.
Because G1, you get a briefcase too. You get to cash in. Granted, it's at Wrestle Kingdom, but well, we have treated it the same way as well. No, that's not true. We have always added that to whatever your thing was at Wrestle Kingdom. So I guess we could do that again.
We'll figure it out. We'll do something special.
We'll figure it out.
G1.
But it'll be a certain bonus thing that you can take to either Wrestle Kingdom or treat it like Money in the Bank. So
yeah.
But yeah, that form will go up later today after we're done with our show. And apologies, meant to get that up yesterday. Didn't get opportunity to. Also, if you're watching here live or VOD on YouTube, if you could give this video a thumbs up.
Oh yeah, that'd
a like.
Great. Yeah,
goes a long way.
Subscribe button
and that notify bell too. Yeah.
Good stuff. So yeah, now I'm sorry. We can go ahead and jump into the Raw recap. Yeah.
Judgment Day's music. Finn Balor comes to the ring.
Yeah.
And he says, the way things went down at Money in the Bank just doesn't sit right with me. The issues with me and Seth have not been put to rest because of Damian Priest. Damian, Senior Money in the Bank. He's interrupted by Rhea and Dom. Who make their entrance. And Rhea says, Finn, what's going on? Look, I know you have unfinished business you want to discuss, but we aren't going to do it out here. Whatever you got to say, we can talk about in the back. So she gets in the ring. And Finn says to her, Rhea, Dom, my issue isn't with you, it's with Damian, and you know it. Damian cost me the World Heavyweight title, and Rhea puts her hand over the mic and pushes it away from him.
And the crowd goes, woo.
I know. And they're talking back and forth, and she's like, you got to calm down. Finn's like, I am calm. And eventually Rhea says, we'll talk about it in the back. I promise we'll get it worked out. And Finn says, I'm going to hold you to that. And he slams the mic down. So he rolls out, kind of face to face with Dom, and walks past him. So then Dom joins Rhea in the ring. And she says, what you saw was our business. The only thing you need to be concerned about is that we still run Monday Night Raw. Don't believe me? Want anyone to come out here to question that fact. Sorry, I want anyone to come out here to question that fact. I'm still the most dominant woman in WWE. Tonight, my Latino heat finishes his business when he puts down Seth Rollins. Isn't that right, Dom? And in typical fashion, Dom tries to speak. Boo.
And so he keeps on trying to talk. And then Seth Rollins comes out.
Oh, my goodness.
He's got some buffalo wings. Oh, my goodness.
Yep.
He was
just great.
chomping on those wings. And he's like, and Dom's like, no, I cut the music because I'm not going to be disrespectful like that. Not today. And Seth says, shut your mouth. No one came here to watch you run your mouth. We came here to party, to eat some buffalo wings, and to watch Judgment Day implode right before our eyes. Ha, ha, ha. So Dom says, the only thing imploding is your head when I beat you tonight, Seth. Crowd boos, and Dom's yelling at them, and Seth says, oh, you think you're going to beat me? With just a mouthful of chicken. Dom says, yeah, I'm going to beat you. And he says, I got some bad news for you two. Mommy, tonight I'm the only one whooping Dom's ass. And then he drops the mic and eats another wing. And then we have Drew McIntyre and Matt Riddle versus Imperium. But before that, we had a little backstage moment with Judgment Day. And Priest says to Rhea and Dom, that went exactly how I thought it would. And then Rhea says, you and Finn need to grow up, act like men, and squash this. And Damian says, this man already tried talking to Finn and he didn't listen. For you, though, I'll speak to him again. Rhea says, good. I love the dynamic. I love that Rhea is like, look, this is important. You guys need to put your squabbles aside. Get it figured out for the betterment of Judgment Day. It's
exactly
fucking awesome, dude.
It's great. Then we had Drew McIntyre and Matt Riddle taking on Imperium. Looks like Giovanni Vinci. No victory, only trouble for him.
No Vittoria, but potentially, maybe outskis from Imperium.
Yeah, it looks that way because he took the L here after eating a Claymore from Drew, and after Imperium walks up the ramp, Gunther is just giving Vinci the business, just yelling at him, and then walks off, and then Kaiser glares at him, shakes his head disapprovingly, and then walks off. So then Vinci's just there by himself, head down. He probably walked backstage like that Michael Cera gif from Arrested Development.
Yeah, like the Charlie Brown homage there. Yeah, that could be. Look, I'll be honest with you. Go back to his fancy lifestyle from NXT. I love that shit, man. I thought that was great. Let me ask you something. If you're Vinny Vinci, are you happy or now? Are you in a better position now, or are you thinking, man, I kind of liked what they were doing with me in NXT because it was only like 3 weeks before they took him away from it. It felt like that, anyways. It felt like there was no time.
I mean, I don't know. I guess if he thinks he has a better future as a singles wrestler, then I guess that's what you want to pursue. But at the same time, I don't know what kind of feeling that had, you know?
Okay, so here's the thing about that stuff that I even maintained back then. Sometimes you take that seed of an idea and you just see where it goes. You know what I mean? And that's what that's what all of NXT 2.0 was.
It took them 6 months to figure that all out. Yeah.
Right, exactly. And it's like, okay, let's go ahead and throw some people out there, some ideas. Some of them didn't work. Some of them did. But the ones that did ended up working pretty damn good. And I wonder if Vinny Vici just needed that time to sort of like eventually this shit would have been dropped, or they would have just found a way to make it, I don't know, endearing, you know?
Yeah.
And so I don't know if I'm sitting there and I'm just me and I'm looking at both situations, I don't know how you break out of Imperium to be a singles guy with more success than Gunther's henchman.
Yeah.
Because they're really not doing much for Kaiser and Eichner very much. Certainly not Eichner. At least Kaiser gets to talk a lot.
Yeah, I know.
But Eichner doesn't even get to talk.
No, not really. Not really at all. No. Yeah, I mean, I guess in the end, though, all it takes is one good story for the breakup of Imperium, and then potentially all three of them could move on to do interesting things.
That's true. That's true.
If the story's there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
If it's just like, oh, you lose too much, you're out. Well, it's really not that interesting. Come up with an interesting story about their breakup, and then people will be invested in it.
Yeah. Yeah. No, absolutely.
So then we're backstage. Finn says, Senior Money in the Bank. Everybody knows if it wasn't for you, I'd be the world heavyweight champion. Right, Dom? And he kind of slaps Dom in the chest. And Rhea says, enough. Stop acting like children and stop talking over one another, one at a time. Damien, you first. So Priest says, fine. At Money in the Bank, it was never my intention to cost you. I wanted you to win. Says, I would never cash in on you. I was on your side. This isn't my fault. Now can we go back to the way things were running this place? Or, and Finn Jackson says, or we can have a fresh slate, start over, but under one condition. I still got issues with Seth, so I get Seth first. And Priest says, have at him. Are we cool? And Finn says they are. And Priest says, I know you can beat him and be champion. But either way, it's covered as he holds up the briefcase.
Yeah.
Which puts little, like, Finn had a look on his face like, okay, you don't believe in me.
Yeah, Priest is kind of
cost
a dick
me again.
Here. He didn't even apologize.
No,
he didn't even explain himself. He was like, it was
he
never
didn't even
my
take
intention.
any responsibility for it.
No, he didn't. He just thinks, you know what? I want to look. This thing right here means guaranteed championship. So whatever.
So Finn, out of the way.
He's just waiting out. Finn. That's why Finn's got to win that title, because it's like, okay, Finn can't just step out of the way. He can't just get out of the way.
I know, and that makes Priest have to wait to cash in, or go back on his word to not cash in on Finn.
Yeah. I like some people are talking about in YouTube chat. They're talking about Eastside Review says, Quincy Elliott, we hardly knew you. Some of the NXT 2.0 kids. People bringing up Zion Quinn. What happened to Zion Quinn? I know he was called up as a free agent.
Yeah.
I think.
Odyssey Jones was drafted to Raw. I haven't seen him.
The only time I've seen him is on those that images people forgot, and it's his draft card for Raw. Yeah, I don't know what happened with that. I don't know.
I don't know either.
Anyways, they play a replay of the trial of the Tribal Chief because they know it's going to pop ratings.
Yep.
So they replay that. Then we get the interviewer Jackie backstage with Kevin Owens and Sammy. She's like, "What's next for you?" Sammy says, "More of the same. We'll take on whoever comes our way. We've dealt with Imperium for months and finally got through that. Anyone who wants to challenge us: Street Profits, LWO, Viking Raiders, Alpha Academy." And then Dom and Rhea walk up. Kevin Owens is like, "Nobody follows the rules around here. Nobody said your name or anything, so you can't just show up." And Rhea says, "We showed up because you didn't mention Judgment Day." Kevin Owens says, "Oh, she's upset because we didn't say their name. It's kind of justified." And then Rhea says, "Any combination of us could take your titles whenever we wanted." And Dom says, "Maybe we do." And Rhea says, "We're going to take all the titles. World, tag, all of them. It doesn't matter." And it starts when Dom smashes Seth's head in over and over again. He worked on cardio in prison, so he never gets tired. That was so great. So they walk off, and Sammy's like, "What do you think she meant?" Kevin Owens says, "I don't know. Probably running around a yard or something." Sammy says, "Oh." So Kevin says, "What were you thinking?" And Sammy says, "It made it sound like," and then he whispers to Kevin Owens, who nods in agreement. And they walk off as Judgment Day's music hits. Dom and Rhea make their way out first, and we get that match before that match. What do you think of this end to share video package, man?
It was way more produced than their previous ones.
I know. It was awesome. I thought it was great.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. I mean, now they got to translate these video packages. The presentation's good. They've had plenty of squash matches. Now give me some stories here.
Yeah, I agree with that 1,000%. What would you do? Like who's a good matchup for them in the tag
Viking
team?
Raiders?
Oh, that's a really good one. Yeah, that's a good one.
Like, give them 15 minutes, put on some awesome matches, elevate all of them.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's a great idea, man.
So I had an idea. Listen to you just talk about this Judgment Day, Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn thing.
Yeah.
The backstage. What if Priest tries to get in Finn's ear and be like, hey, I told you get Seth next. That's fine. You could have Seth next if you really want to. But you just pinned one of the tag champions. What if you and Dom go out there and win those tag titles?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Like he starts politicking.
Oh, yeah.
Try to
get that. Yeah.
Starts out of the way.
Starts the manipulating.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
There you go. That could be. So that brings up Dirty Dom versus Seth Rollins. The match really doesn't happen though because so Seth makes his way out. Rhea rolls out. Dom blindsides Seth because Rhea distracts him. Seth fights back. Dom runs into the crowd. Seth chases him over there, all over. Back to the ring. And then Finn and Priest both attack Seth. They dump him over the ropes. Priest lays in some shots as Finn and Dom are in the ring still. Kevin Owens and Sammy run down to make the save. That actually leads us to the main event later on in the night because it set up a 6-man Kevin Owens, Seth, and Sammy versus Judgment Day.
Yep. After that, we get a Ricochet promo. We get a replay of the Spanish Fly from Money in the Bank. Logan's walking backstage. And Ricochet makes his way to the ring. Now, it's not very often that Ricochet has to go out in the ring and talk and like handle most of the load for an extended promo segment.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Usually he has like 90 seconds of talky bits during the show. That being said, I thought he comported himself pretty well here. There was a lot that he had to handle from a promo standpoint, something he doesn't get an opportunity to do a whole lot.
Yeah.
I think maybe there was one time where he kind of flubbed or had a hard time remembering what he was supposed to say, but otherwise I thought he got his point across well. I thought he helped set up the match with Logan Paul pretty well. I thought he did a pretty good job here. Yeah.
No, I thought that he was fine. The crowd didn't like shit on him, which was good.
Yeah.
And Logan Paul, you could tell there was a little bit of improv there with Logan, and that's not really Ricochet's strong suit. I think dude just needs to loosen up a little bit, you know? But I think you're right. Like, I don't know. I feel like every time, this has been years now, every time Ricochet has any extended promo, we just sound like we're doing our damnedest to be like, hey, you know what? Good job, pal. You're really on your way. And it's just promos are never going to be his thing. Maybe in 10 years when he's just old, or older anyways. By the way, he'll probably be in phenomenal shape at that point.
And in 10 years, he'll probably be an amazing promo because age and reps is what seems to be necessary to be a good promo these days.
Once you approach 40, you're just a good promo. I mean, dude, time and time again. Look at LA Knight, right? Was he 38? Is he 40? I forget. What is he? Is he 38 now?
I don't remember.
Okay. So, like, you look at that promo of his first NXT promo from 2013, from 10 years ago, and it's really not good.
No.
It's like you can't put that on TV. But now that he's approaching 40, guess what? He's like the best promo in WWE, or one of them anyways.
Yeah.
Once you start hitting 40, you just automatically become a good promo. So that's probably what will happen with Ricochet. I love that he did. So there was a back and forth between him. And the central thesis is, hey, you went on your podcast and called me unprofessional, but at the same time, you're admitting that you don't know what you're doing in this ring. This is not a podcast. This is not influencing. This is WWE. So Logan Paul comes out and says, hey, man, like, you screwed up my opportunity to get Money in the Bank. And Ricochet's like, no, I sort of did what all these people wanted me to do. Yeah, I screwed up your opportunity because nobody wants to see you with that Money in the Bank. And, meanwhile, and I think the improv was Logan Paul taking a picture with that little kid. He's like, nobody? Really? Nobody?
Yeah.
And then eventually Ricochet does that really cool spot he did back in NXT against Velveteen Dream, where he just sort of hops out, and Logan Paul sold it really well. He was like, whoa, that was cool. And
he says that was cool for TikTok, though.
Right. Yeah.
He says, I'm not a TikToker. I don't attempt to make moments. I am the moment. So like I said, this isn't going to work out because Ricochet challenges him to a match.
Right.
And Logan's like, no, I'm not going to happen.
Yeah.
So Logan turns to walk away, then takes a couple swings, misses both. And then Ricochet hits the sliced bread off the apron onto Logan. Mm-hmm. And then says to Logan, let me know when you're ready.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I like that there was no mic with that one. He just went down there and he gave him the old what for. So all in all, I thought Ricochet, he did a lot more talking than he's used to. And he didn't embarrass himself, which is a win for Ricochet. Totally.
Because it's not very often he has to go out there and talk for 10, 15 minutes.
No, it's not. No. I mean,
it wasn't not easy to do that. It is not easy to do that.
No, it wasn't terribly smooth, but it also didn't make me cringe. So that was good. Yeah. After that, we see, because they're doing the Maxine Dupree Alpha Academy graduation ceremony. So we got a highlight of the victory last week. Becky Lynch comes out, and she's got Zoe Stark. And Zoe Stark, with probably the biggest win of her career, got the win over Becky Lynch thanks to. So Becky heads up top looking for a leg drop. Zoe moves and hits a couple lariats and guillotines Becky. She hits a falling, twisting senton for a 2 count. Zoe tries for her finish, but Becky rolls through and hits an inverted DDT for 2. Becky tries for a disarmer, but Zoe rolls through. She hits a roundhouse kick to the head for 2 on that. Zoe gets some shots in. Becky rolls her up. Zoe counters and grabs the ropes. The ref notices and stops the count. Becky rolls up Zoe, but Trish is on the apron to point out that Becky has grabbed the ropes. And Zoe tries for a Z360. Becky counters and hits Trish with the wrecking ball dropkick. Zoe then rolls up Becky Lynch to get the win.
So I saw on Twitter this morning that the finish of this match is the same finish. I think it's from 2006 where Melina beat Trish Stratus.
Oh, shit. Okay.
So it's like Trish learned that from the loss, passed that knowledge on to Zoe, and then Zoe.
I freaking love when wrestlers do that shit,
I know.
Man. I love that shit. That's so cool. I like that a lot.
That is pretty cool. So, of course, Becky's upset about it. Zoe and Trish walk up the ramp or backstage with Seth and Kevin and Sammy. And Seth says, I never thought I would see your beautiful faces out there tonight, but I appreciate it. Also didn't expect Judgment Day to come out. So if you have a problem and you have a problem and I have a problem, then what are we going to do? What's the plan? What you got? And then Sammy says, we're on the same page tonight, in the same boat as you. Been dealing with Judgment Day for months, but we can beat them. We are the 3 champions. Go out there and beat them. We got to be smart. And Kevin Dunn goes, I have a plan. Smart. See, I've been trying to control my temper recently, as you know. And I've been cool and calm. But I saw them jump my friend 4-on-1. I can't take it. So how about this? We go out there, we punch faces, smash heads, break noses, do whatever we can to make sure they don't walk away. And they're all like, all right, that sounds pretty good. Mm-hmm. And that's the plan.
Yeah, it was pretty funny stuff. Kevin Owens is a mess. I'm really curious to see how that's going to just blow up at some point.
Oh, I'm sure once they lose those tag titles.
Mm-hmm. After that, we had the Maxine Dupree graduation ceremony. The thing that I love about this so much is Maxine Dupree, I don't know how long she's been doing any of this stuff, but whenever you get to see somebody find something that works, and that crowd popping for that suplex last week, and then everybody being the "you deserve it" chants in the ring, I just really enjoy watching somebody finally find, success with the crowd and a gimmick. And that's what we got with this graduation ceremony. Yep. So, let's see here. Gable says, thanks, Buffalo, for coming out. We're here to honor achievements. He says, not mine. If that was the case, we'd be here all night. It's this. And he gestures with his hands, and Otis says, oh, yeah. So they do a little gimmick about how long his achievements are. He says, tonight we're here to discuss the first ever female graduate of the Alpha Academy. This particular female showed what is possible due to hard work, skills, and determination in conjunction with my coaching skills, and it helped us vanquish those disgusting Viking Raiders with the sickest arm drag suplex combination you've ever seen, baby. And then Otis the entire time is just shimmying and undulating and doing all the weird all that stuff. Yeah. So they introduce Maxine Dupree. So she comes out. She's got the gown and cap going. She says, thank you so much, Coach Gable. When I first met you, I thought you were a hideous, disgusting troll, but I was wrong. You're so much more than that. You're a great mentor, a good teacher, and dare I say, a wonderful friend. She gets the you deserve it chants. Otis starts undulating to those chants. She says, well, thanks to your training, I was able to defeat that witch Valhalla and win my first ever match on Monday Night Raw. But I also have to thank this beautiful hunk of beef, Otis. You are my twin flame, my muse, my rock. If it wasn't for the sexy bod catching my eye, none of this would be possible. Lastly, to the WWE Universe, thank you for accepting me. Thank you for helping me become a star. And the three of us are just getting started. Thank you. So anyways, Gable introduces... they're doing a double entendre thing where he's like, hey, I want you to take off that cap. Now take off that gown and put this on. And it's a Letterman jacket from Alpha Academy.
Yeah.
So she's about to put it on, but the Raiders come down minus Valhalla. Valhalla sneaks in from behind, blindsides Maxine, and she steals the jacket and makes off with it. Why the Viking Raiders need this, I guess it's their prize for the raid. So.
I guess so.
That's what I guess you typically do on a raid. Is you
I
steal
guess
things.
steal something.
Yeah.
Exactly. So then we got a replay of Shayna turn on Ronda at Money in the Bank. Shayna has a match next. But before the match begins, we go to a promo from earlier in the day where Emma steps up and it's like, hey, I took it to Ronda my first match back. And then it leads to Shayna challenging Emma to a match. And then pretty much destroying her. And then chokes her out with the Karafuda clutch to get the win.
Yeah. Good dominant win there from Shayna.
Yep. And then Ronda's music plays. She comes to the ring. She hits Shayna with a right hand, a knee, and hits a judo throw on her. But then Shayna kind of transitions to put on the clutch. Ronda slips out, is looking for an arm bar, and then Shayna gets to the ropes to leverage out of that to get out of the ring. I
thought this was awesome because, man, these shots that Ronda threw at Shayna, you could tell like they were stiff. And that's sort of, they're on the same page with that shit. All the rolling around, jockeying for position just felt kind of real. You can tell they are really trying to do something cool here, and I appreciate that shit.
The level of urgency.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly.
Has been really good so far. So hopefully that continues up until and through their match.
Yeah.
All right, Steve, Cody.
Oh man, it's just absolutely inspirational, and you got to love the crowd just hangs on every single word. I was talking to Maggie about this, and she sort of agreed with me and came up with some of this, but I have a theory. Is it possible that AEW, the crowd there, they used to boo Cody, did they just realize that he was too good for them and he really needed to be doing better things? Is that a possibility? Is that why they were booing him?
No, I don't think so.
I think that was why. Yeah,
he wasn't doing anything like this in AEW.
I think that's definitely the reason why. He was doing just such good. They were like, you're too good for us. You need to go to a better place. So get out of here, boo. Kind of feel like that was the situation.
I don't think that's the situation. But I mean, if you want to tell yourself that, have at it.
Oh man, I'll tell the millions. Anyway, so Cody comes out, and as Chris Garrick's here in our notes says, he makes his way out to a great ovation as usual. I mean, that's underselling it. They were hanging on every word.
I mean, they were singing this. Now every crowd sings this song.
They all know the lyrics now, man. It's crazy.
Yeah.
So anyways, he gets in the ring and he says, Buffalo, what do you guys want to talk about? I know on the other side of that lens, there are millions of people. Forgive me and indulge me. Of course, we'll indulge you, Cody. He says, I'm going to turn my back because I want to see everyone tonight. I see you. Hopefully you see me. It can seem like there's a divide between you and me, but I feel like you're in here with me. That's dangerous. So thank you very much. The reason it doesn't feel performative is because what I'm telling you is real. When I was talking career goals, I was talking life goals. In the UK at a press event, somebody asked me how I felt about my momentum. This question haunts me. I answered politely and maybe a bit cagey. I cited you, the WWE Universe, every city sold out, every crowd louder and louder, every metric you can judge me by. I'm doing okay. But had he persisted, I would have said, my momentum in the ring, it's a little shaky. The reason it's shaky is because of the mountain I can't go up or over. You either go through it or you don't go through it or you don't go at all. You know what I'm referring to, who I'm referring to, Brock Lesnar. Now, Brock isn't here. He didn't think Buffalo was worth the trip. Surprised me last week, and I was told he'd be here next week, but here's my discovery about Brock. Everyone has a Brock Lesnar. Oh, God, Larson. Here's some editorializing on my part. This is brilliance. fear of heights, student debt, terrible boss. We all have a Brock Lesnar, that thing impeding us from what we need to do to succeed. Larson, let me ask you, let me pause here. What is your Brock Lesnar?
Where to start?
Just an endless cacophony.
Celebrity impersonators calling into the show today. On the basketball court. Just kind of general anxiety in my life.
Oh my goodness, yeah. It's an avalanche of Brock Lesnar's for you, isn't it?
It truly is. It's like it's me and the whole rest of the roster is full of Brock Lesnar's.
Oh my goodness gracious. Cody's Brock Lesnar is actual literal Brock Lesnar. He says, my Brock is a 6'3", 285-pound walking billboard for Darwinism and natural selection. He says, what's the quote? Some men see the things the way they are and ask why. Other dream things they've never seen and say, why not? I want to be the latter. I dream of a rubber match with Brock at SummerSlam. Brock Lesnar, nothing would make me happier than next week if you came to this ring, shook my hand, and no, it wasn't personal, and accept my challenge at SummerSlam. If you don't shake my hand, I'm going to pop you in the head, use a chair, hit you with steps, and finish the chapter you started for no damn reason. The reason is simple. Why would anyone want another match with Brock? Why do I have to fight Brock again? What comes out of that fight? What emerges is simple. That guy is next in line. The prince doesn't want to be the prince anymore. I will be next in line. He's got to get through his mountain Brock Lesnar, which is literal Brock Lesnar.
Yeah. Speaks of all these figurative Brock Lesnar's, but his Brock Lesnar is actually Brock Lesnar.
It's actual Brock Lesnar, yeah.
Yeah. What was Cody's Brock Lesnar in AEW, Steve?
Oh, man, a crowd that just appreciated him so much and understood that he was doing too much that they decided to let him go because they loved him so much.
His Brock Lesnar in AEW is taking himself out of the world title picture for the entire time there. That's what it was.
Nah, man. His Brock Lesnar was building a thing that he was too big for.
Wow.
Oh, yeah, man. Believe it.
Next up, we got a really fun no DQ match between The Miz and Tommaso Ciampa. Crowd was super into this match too because it was tons of fun.
So was Steve. Holy shit, this match!
Yeah, this was tons of fun. It was tons of fun. That air raid crash spot off the table. You thought that was it. Ciampa's going for the pin, but
nope.
Bronson Reed comes out of nowhere, pulls Ciampa out of the ring, destroys him ringside, puts him back in the ring, hits him with the tsunami, and then Miz, with a smile on his face, slowly crawls over to cover Ciampa to get the win.
Yeah. So Miz gets that win over Ciampa, but only thanks to the devastating Bronson Reed.
Yes.
I mean, I'm assuming Ciampa and Miz, they need to move on. Just do Ciampa Reed at this point. Or, I mean, if they're going to do the DIY reunion, I guess Miz and Ciampa, or Miz and
that's
Bronson
a possibility.
Reed would make sense, yeah.
That's a possibility. So Miz is happy, of course. Reed looks back towards the ring from the top of the ramp. And then we're backstage. Liv and Raquel are chatting. And then Sonya and Chelsea Green step up. And Sonya says, so you're going to be ringside, huh? Convenient. And Chelsea's like, and who allowed that? I don't see a manager anywhere. And Raquel says, relax. We just want a close-up look at our competition. We are more than ready to defend these. And Sonya says, we're more than ready to win them. So then they're all quiet because Rhea walks in. She stares down at Raquel and says, you need to focus on your tag division and stay out of my business. Do it again, and that's strike 3. So Chelsea pops in and goes, yeah, strike 3. That's right. Basketball. And Liv has to cover her mouth because she's starting to laugh. And Chelsea continues, and when Sonya and I win those titles, are we going to win the division? We're going to win the division, right, Rhea? And then Rhea turns towards them because it says, who said we? So they all run off. And Liv says, you may think it, but we're just not scared of you. It's the reason we got into your business. If you want to be a bully. Raquel says, we're going to stop you. Deal with it. And so Liv laughs. Music hits. Watch me. And they make their way out towards the ring.
Watch me.
Chelsea is so good.
Watch me. Yeah, she is. She's got to be like one of the best signings that Triple H did, man, because that was great. Because you imagine like sitting out, like you're just sitting on that gold, and she's just sitting outside of Vince McMahon's office for like 3 hours with like, what did she say? She had like 10 ideas to pitch him?
Yeah.
Just let her be her.
I know.
It works. So anyways, Sonya and Chelsea then take on Caden Carter and Katana Chance. Really fun stuff because it's Caden Carter and Katana Chance, and they're awesome. So let's see here. Chelsea Green and Sonya Deville get the win here. Deville and Carter fight on the outside. Chance rolls up Green for a 2. Then Chelsea rolls her up as Deville holds the ropes for the win here. And so, yeah, they get the win. Drew and Riddle are backstage. Byron walks up, congratulates them. And Drew says, felt good for us, not for Imperium. Been watching a bit, and where did all these groups come from? Everybody's causing havoc and mayhem, but we stopped it tonight first with Imperium. And Riddle says, I'm sick and tired of them pointing their fingers, bro. Worshipping the ring. Felt so good to beat them, and it feels so good to beat Gunter next week. And Drew's like, whoa, hold off one more week, man. I'm not here next week. The numbers game is too much. Riddle says, I already talked to my bald friend Adam Pearce, and he barred Kaiser and Vinci from ringside. And Drew's like, all right, man, take his head off. Should we check out Buffalo now? And then Byron's like, oh, I'll come along. And Drew says, not you.
Stiff-armed him.
Yeah, man, rude.
Stiff-armed him. Then we got our main event. Seth, Sammy, Kevin Owens taking on Judgment Day. Fun match. I didn't notice it. It's too clunky, but I guess that there's a couple spots maybe were a little rough, but I guess it speaks to the professionalism of all 6 individuals involved in the match itself.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
There was that kind of wonky double sling blade spot. Baszler hits one eventually, but it runs into a super kick. Seth tags at Sammy. He hits crossbody for a 2. I guess there was another where Sammy looked like he was going for a blue thunder bomb, but it came off as kind of weird. Maybe there was a couple spots that were off. That was next. Finn hits a sling blade, double shotgun drop kick. He misses a coup de grace and then runs into an actual blue thunder bomb for a 2 because Dom breaks it up. Dom then sets up for a 619. Instead, Kevin Owens hits him with a stunner. Priest dumps Owens out of the ring. Sammy sends him flying with Exploder, and then sends Priest flying, and then hits an Exploder on Finn. So he's setting up for a Helluva kick, but Rhea grabs his leg. Mm-hmm. Priest then hits Sammy with the South of Heaven chokeslam, right in position for Finn to hit a coup de grace to get the win and get the win for Judgment Day.
Yeah, and Seth is just stewing on the outside as Judgment Day. And it was great because you got Priest and Finn getting that win there, and they stand up, and Finn's like trying to read Damien. Damien's got a dead look on his face, and then he cracks that Damien Priest smile, and they hug.
Yeah,
yep. Man. Oh, good stuff.
Yeah.
Hopefully they all made up. I know that they don't talk unless they're literally at TV and there's a camera rolling.
I know.
But hopefully they'll all get on the same page.
I hope so too.
When they see each other again. Anyways, would you like to answer some questions?
Let's do it.
It's one of the things you can do if you are a channel member or a patron. We have the question threads for our shows available to those individuals. So first up, David Matushek. With Judgment Day and Imperium teasing breakups, do you think that most stables breaking up too often comes way too frequently? Yeah. I think that's sort of a thing in AEW is they'll establish factions, and then before they really do something meaty with them, besides Jericho's factions, those last forever.
Well, even though Jericho Appreciation Society, if it does end up breaking up, it just feels like kind of farted out, just completely petered out here. Just like, all right, I'm going to be babyface now. This faction's no more.
Yeah, there's no story to it. Yeah, I know.
No. Alex Foster here says, in kayfabe, why do so many wrestling shows never have main events set up until the show starts? Isn't that bad planning?
You know what? I just kind of feel like it happens. So, it's such a staple of pro wrestling that the bookers in kayfabe understand, hey, these events are going to play out. And then, at the end of the day, if we don't have a main event, we just say, you get in there.
Guess what? Go out there and talk.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
Someone get Bloodline on the phone. Get them here so we can do a segment at the end.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Can we run a recap package, please? Let's see here. Oh, wow. This is a great question.
Oh, give it to
from
me.
The appropriately named, straight from Hearst Castle, Movie Party Murders.
Mm-hmm.
Says, if Judgment Day had a segment that was like Mystery Science Theater, what movie would you want to see them talk over?
Wow, great question.
Right?
The Happening.
Oh, good answer. Oh, I like that one. Oh, that's a good answer.
That movie is awful. It is so bad.
Yeah. I've only seen bits and pieces.
Oh, it's terrible.
Is it? You know what I watched last night on
Netflix?
Netflix? Me and Lacey watched 65, Adam Driver versus Dinosaurs.
Oh, how was that?
It's exactly as you think it would be.
All right.
It's literally exactly what you think it would be. Okay. I loved it though, because I love Adam Driver, and it is the kind of thing where, because it's when I explained the premise to Lacey, she was like, oh, so it's like a Sharknado type thing, and I'm like, yeah, of course,
yeah.
But you toss Adam Driver in there, and that dude is taking that role fucking seriously. It's like Marriage Story, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're getting that level of Adam Driver, and it elevates the whole goddamn thing. I'm invested in that shit because he's taking it so seriously.
Because he's invested in it.
Right.
If he played it for laughs.
Right. On the other hand, if you have like Danny McBride in there, that's
a completely different movie there at that point, though.
Right, but it would have been amazing as well.
It would have been.
It's
like, hey, dinosaur, you're fucking out.
Exactly. But yeah, that's good.
Luis here says, if you were to recreate Evolution using current roster, luring wrestlers from other companies included, what 2 future superstars, one present, one legend would you pick? So new Evolution.
Oh man, yeah.
Yeah, Triple H in the Flair role. Like I was like, Triple H can't wrestle anymore, though.
Yeah, that's Flair's the thing. You gotta have somebody to wrestle there. Yeah. I mean, Flair at the time. Who's clearly Edge? Edge would be in the Flair role because Edge is close to retirement.
Yeah, I was gonna think Sting.
Okay. That's not bad. Also, that's good. So So is this going to be just a like cross promotion thing?
Sure. Yeah, you can bring people from other promotions.
Boy, that's hard. Okay, Sting. Let's do an AEW one. Let's do a WWE one.
All right.
Sting. Wardlow can be the. I guess Wardlow can be the Batista.
All right.
I don't know if I see that.
No, I don't know if I see that either.
Not. Sting, Hobbs, Starks, and who's the top dog in AEW right now?
It's MJF right now.
MJF would be the triple. Well, MJF's too young for that.
Yeah, I know. Be someone like Kenny.
Punk. Punk's too old.
Phil.
Punk could be the Flair.
Yeah. Oh gosh.
I don't know. We did that one. Okay. Floppy says, not sure if you guys saw, but WWE released new Signature Series titles. HBK, Edge's 25th anniversary, Kurt Angle, maybe a few more.
Awful.
The Edge one's ugly. HBK's is better than his previous Signature Series, but it's still not good. I have not seen the Kurt Angle one.
I have not seen that either.
I'm assuming that's the undisputed title that they had, the Brock Lesnar title.
Maybe.
It's probably that one. He says, if you guys have the time, what's your favorite? Floppy really likes the HBK one. I don't know about the new ones. I don't like any of the new ones, so I can't really say.
No.
But I will say this. Out of all of them, and I hate saying this because I'm not a fan of the guy, Ultimate Warrior's Signature Series title is fucking outstanding. It looks amazing. There's also a Bret Hart Winged Eagle one, which is a winged eagle, but it's got a pink, black, and white striped strap, which looks outstanding.
There's a Eddie Guerrero.
That's an okay one.
Undisputed champion one. That one's not bad.
That's an okay one. There's a horrible looking Cena one.
I mean, the Razor Ramon one is just the Intercontinental title with a purple strap, Steve. I'm surprised you didn't say that one.
No, that looks really good too. I think I get, because I did like a WrestleJuice video on these.
And that Cena one is terrible.
That's awful. It's a severed hand.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like it.
No good.
The Undertaker and Kane have like Brother of Destruction ones that are kind of
good. Those are whatever.
Yeah. I do like it's like it doesn't really even look like it's Randy Orton specific, but Randy Orton has a World Heavyweight Championship. Yeah. The only reason I like it is because it has a brown strap. The brown strap looks fantastic. Elemental Giant, we've sort of addressed this at the beginning of the show. He says, now that we're almost a year into Triple H running creative, what have been the most notable changes and improvements? I think it's all the characters know who they are. Mm-hmm. That was the biggest thing missing before.
Yeah. Yeah. Payday here with the super chat. Thank you so much. Let me see if there's any others. Doesn't look like
A Shock here says, I don't know what the context is. He says Daniel Garcia's dancing is fun. You see that clip from Ring of Honor where he does like the little roundy thing, the little twirl thing with the and then he goes straight and that shit made me laugh. He's so aggressive with the hip thrusting.
Oh, he really is.
John
Grinder here. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, you go ahead. I've done a bunch of them.
Organ Grinder, what wrestler from one promotion would you like to see join a faction in another promotion? Example, Organ Grinder would like to see Claudio join Imperium.
Claudio joining Imperium. Oh, that's cool. That's a cool idea. Claudio would kind of overshadow those. Claudio is such a stud.
Yeah, I know.
He's tall. He's fucking ripped. He kind of overshadow Gunther, I feel. I actually really like Claudio where he's at.
Yeah, me too.
But I wonder what Claudio would have...
Claudio in Blackpool Combat Club.
I wonder what Claudio would have been doing in WWE if he'd have stayed around.
Oh, that's a good question. He might be in NXT right now.
Claudio with a character, though? Holy shit.
Yeah.
Or in NXT. That could be, too, yeah.
Yeah. Man, Timothy Thatcher needs to join Blackpool Combat Club.
Oh, that'd be sick. That'd be awesome. Thatcher in WWE could be fun.
Yeah.
Hosey, he could join Duke University. He says, do you think that Jordan Devlin will be introduced soon in Judgment Day to be a tag partner? They've sort of dropped that thing.
They kind of just dropped that, yeah. Blake Whitehouse, if you were to travel to a parallel universe and meet a different version of yourself,
awesome.
Would you rather meet the version of you that grew up on the East Coast or the versions of you that think basketball sucks?
Basketball sucks. No, I guess I'd rather visit the version of me on the East Coast.
Yeah.
That'd be fascinating because, like, the East Coast is generally too claustrophobic for me.
Well, the population density is much higher on the East Coast than the West.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
That's why I don't like going to San Francisco. The density is too much there.
Yeah.
I need less density.
I
need wide
open
spaces.
You liked New York when we were there, didn't you?
Oh, I enjoy visiting New York.
Yeah.
I could never live there.
Yeah, I don't think I could live there either.
I'd feel so claustrophobic. I need space. Yeah.
Steve needs land.
I'd be like, hey, Steve from New York, how you doing? Hey, what's up, sucker? Why'd you call me that? What, you think you're me? I am you. California you.
Is Steve here from Boston?
Hey, Steve, how you doing? How's your dog? I hear you like avocado. Oh, man. Steve here from Boston. What a weird question. Who asked that question?
Blake Whitehouse.
That was awesome, Blake. That's great.
Oh, my gosh.
Steve here from Boston.
High Plains Drifter's asking what's next for Brock after the feud with Cody, but you can't say Gunther. I mean, should Brock like lose a bunch of feuds now because he's like just putting people over? Well, he'll lose to Cody, and then whenever him and Gunther do feud, he needs to lose to Gunther.
Yeah,
but he should probably win something in between.
Right. Yeah, he can't lose too many big feuds.
Let's say he has to go to Smack. Nah, because Gunther's on Raw, so he can't leave Raw.
How about this?
I got it.
Okay, go ahead.
Brock goes to NXT.
Oh, wow.
To feud with Braun Breaker.
Oh, yeah, but Braun needs that win against Brock. I'm going to say this. Brock feuds with Austin Theory, wins the U.S. title.
Wow.
And then LA Knight beats Brock for the U.S. title.
There we go. All right, good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be fascinating. LA Knight and Brock Lesnar in a feud. How would LA Knight no-sell Brock Lesnar?
Just would. You pop right back up from an F5. Nada. Disc Golfing Goon here says, with John Cena's cinematic match against Bray a few years ago at Mania got me thinking what a Cena-led NWO would look like in modern times. Can you book 5 members with Cena obviously being Hogan? So you need to start with a tag team.
Okay. Yeah, like a Hall and Ash. Who's the Hall and Ash of today?
Well, if the Young Bucks came from
I was
AEW.
about to say the Young Bucks.
to WWE, and they were the
don't
ones
know why I'm here.
to get John Cena to turn heel.
Or, okay, so it wasn't really, like, they weren't really a tag team. They were like former world champions.
Yeah.
So what if it's
Kenny and Hangman?
Kenny and Hangman. And Cena. Oh my God. That'd be great. Wow is right.
Wow is right. So we need two members, two other members. Well, you could just have the Young Bucks, and then it's just the Elite plus John Cena.
That'd be sick, man.
And they feud with Cody.
Yeah, I like it. That's good. Cody wins. Let's see here. The doctor says, how many times should a top 3 guy lose before his reputation is damaged? I mean, there's a lot
depends how long they've been a top 3 guy.
There's like a lot of context that you sort of additional context you would need.
If you're new to the main event scene, you start taking a bunch of L's. Not going to be great, but if if it's like Brock Lesnar, who's been a main eventer for the duration, the entirety of his WWE career, I know there was a few years out of there where he wasn't wrestling.
Yeah,
he could probably lose 4 matches in a row. It's like, well, still Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Bucket Dipper says, since they haven't given us a real reason, what's the going in Raw reason Brock attacked Cody in the first place?
I mean, if it was us, it probably has something to do with catering.
It would definitely have something to do with catering.
Yeah.
Like
Brock, this is it. So Cody's there eating his prime rib, enjoying his prime rib. You got an end piece, plenty of seasoning on there. Brock goes and sits next to him with a bottle of his seasoning, puts it on the table, goes, "Hey Cody, why don't you give this a try?" And Cody's like, "I appreciate that, Brock. I got an end piece here, plenty of seasoning on it. If I add too much, it's gonna be too salty. And I just don't want that. So I'm good. It's fine."
Yeah, but
and
then
Brock's
but then he's like, "Hey, but you know what, man? I'll take the seasoning home, and if you'd like, would you like one of the brownies that Brandy made?" And they got little American flags in them. And Brock's like, "Oh, I rarely indulge. Sure." He picks it up. He bites into it. There's nuts in it. Oh, that's like little landmines of disgusting.
Oh, wow.
I like nuts, just not in my brownies.
Or banana bread, for that matter.
Oh, the worst. Yeah, absolutely. So Brock's like, fuck this guy.
Won't eat my seasoning, puts nuts in the brownies.
And he took my seasoning. I was gonna go offer it to Bronson Reed over there.
Yeah.
Bronson Reed, he's like, oh yeah, I'll
who got a middle piece of prime rib, so probably would enjoy a little extra seasoning.
Probably need some seasoning on that shit.
Yeah. Oh, White Brownie says Cody put Heinz 57 on Brock's steak. Worse yet, ketchup.
Oh, not ketchup. Oh man. Big Daddy Stan says, I'm curious, do you pay Phil McDonald every time you play that advertisement for the purple t-shirts? Yeah.
Oh, I certainly hope not.
The answer is yes, we do. We do,
yeah. All right, we're done for the day. Wrap it up.
All right, here we go. This is great. Jay Butler, Maggie will appreciate this one. Jay Butler says, not a question, but Steve is becoming fickled. He says, just a few months back, number one, I'm going to start using fickled in the past tense.
Yeah.
Just a few months, he was praising Grayson, saying he needs to go to main roster. Now, yesterday, your feelings have changed. Fickled. So I do think he belongs on main roster because I think he's a good main roster talent. I don't care to see him, though. But I think that, yes, his work is good enough for main roster. I just don't care to see him. And I don't think that those things have to be hand in hand. You know what I mean? It's not a mutually exclusive thing.
Yes.
I don't miss him when he's gone, but clearly the guy is a main event level talent, a main roster level talent.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying I'm not fickle. I totally am. Definitely fickled.
Yeah. Steve is fickled.
Yeah.
Yep.
Let's see if there's
I guess that'll do it for us for today. I'm guessing Steve's frozen here, so I don't know if he's.
I'm not frozen. I'm good.
There he is.
I'm good. You're good, and I'm good.
You're back. All right.
I'm looking for. I'm looking for a question. Yeah, people are saying Twitch sucks. Like the Twitch internet, there's something going on. You got to wire in, man. Just get a giant wire, run it through your house. Your wife's gonna be like, "The fuck is this?"
Issues. I know.
Like, look, do you like me making money or not, lady?
Tripping over a Ethernet cable all over the place.
Don't say that, by the way. All right. Let's see if there's one more question here.
Atomic Sunrise, perhaps wishful booking, but if Priest becomes World Heavyweight Champion, could Judgment Day be the ones to end Gunther's reign, lean to Gunther versus Priest for the World Heavyweight Championship?
So I like this. Finn wins the World Heavyweight Championship. Priest wins the Intercontinental Championship. Dom and Rhea win the tag titles. Rhea is a double champion.
That's good. That's great.
It's done.
Done. It's booked.
It's
booked.
Book it. Anyways, thanks everybody for tuning in. We appreciate it. Till next time, we'll talk to you later.
Goodbye.